standpoint, we dictated pace in the game pretty much for the whole time. We had a couple minute stretches there, both in the first and second, that we got away from it. But this was the first game that we. This is the pace offensively we had to play. I thought defensively we flew around, we scrambled, we were aggressive. I was really pleased, and had been. Our defense really hasn't been a major concern. I was a little worried offensively. We were like running in mud, and I was a little worried we might do that tonight, coming back from a long trip to Brazil, and having just one day to practice. But they responded tonight.
How much of that do you think had to do with looking at guys like LeBron and D-Wade?
It's not so much looking like it. There's a reason why they're two-time defending champs. They're pretty good, and they play aggressive, and they play whether it's an exhibition game or whether it's a regular season game or whether it's game 7. I think as much as we knew watching them play their exhibition games, that they're going to come out as aggressive as anything that they've seen. And I think the first 3 minutes we were kind of shocked. They kind of punched us in the face, and I think we had 3 turnovers the first 3 possessions, and all of a sudden that kind of woke us up. It's like, wow. And then when we play basketball, where we got 5 guys on the floor that doesn't care who gets the shot, we're pretty good. We're pretty good. And that ball popped like that tonight.
You went with a lot of small lineups.
Well, we did. I told you I was going to try to look to experiment a little bit because the league's going that way. Miami's a great, Battier. You see a power forward in the other mine. No. So I mean, I wanted to look at different things. We went with Trevor and Martell and Bradley. We went a little bit small. Even Jan, you would consider the 5 position. I consider it the forward position.
With Eric Maynard tonight, why didn't he play?
He had a sore Achilles. So we just held him out.
In terms of just Bradley and the adjustments that Miami looked like they tried to make on him in the second half, and yet he was still able to be aggressive.
Aggressive. You said the word. I don't have to answer the question. I mean, he maintained his aggression. Missed make shots, took it to the basket, 1-2 dribble pull up, open threes. I mean, he had the gamut of shots that he was smart on which ones. When he had an opening to get to the rim, he got to the rim. They're a very good team. You don't get to the rim very often against them. And when he knew he couldn't get to the rim, it was a 1-2 pull up before they could recover to him. And those are the things he's been working on. It's good to see those things pay off. And I think I think by far he's been our most consistent player.
Pat was saying at halftime, when you guys are 5-on-5 on defense and you're getting these guys to run off the 3-point line, you guys are really good. Is that a point of emphasis?
Well, yeah, I mean, we can't. A team like this, you can't. They're not. You don't have to worry. How many post ups did you see tonight? So you've got to make them put the ball on the floor. The Shane Battiers and Jones and those guys, you got to make them put it on the floor. Battier made every shot tonight, I think, didn't he? Was he 5 for 5? He did. And he didn't we didn't make him put the ball on the floor once. Those are the things we're trying to talk about. Know who you're guarding, who you're recovering to, and those are things we're still working on.
I would think the one stat that concerns you most is.
I knew you'd bring up something negative.
It's preseason.
Yeah, it is. A lot of credit to Miami too. They created a lot of it, but yeah, it's a concern. I talk to you guys every day, all right? And what do I say to you every day? That's a concern, and so we got to continue to work at that. We finally got on the plus side, though. 26 assists, 23 turnovers. That's way too bad.
Randy, can Al Harrington be very important to you this year, having a veteran forward?
Well, I mean, he just as you saw tonight, we had a little bit of a stretch there where, towards the end of that third quarter, they made a little run where it could have got a little dicey. He kind of calmed it down a little bit. He's been in those situations, and he's not going to panic. He's going to be in the right spots. We just got to continue to work him into shape. He went basically a year without playing, and this is his first action. So he's still not where he's going to be. And we gotta keep pushing that with him.
Well, and Bradley, you talked about being more aggressive, maybe, I guess, also confidence would seem to, just from where he was a year ago to now.
Well, it is. I mean, he's a, you know, like I told you guys last year, a year ago this time, he was scared shitless out there. So, now he's a different guy. That's just that's who he was. You know, we kind of saw him grow up last year. And take more and more responsibility. By the time we got to the end of the season, you could see his demeanor change. Now, you know, whole summer, the work he put in, and you know, training camp, he was a total different guy. You know, I mean, he even came up to me before the first day of practice at training camp. He said, "Man, I feel so comfortable." Where last year I didn't know what I was getting myself into. So I mean, that's the big thing. I talk that about all our players. You don't go out there with confidence, you're not going to put yourself in the best position to succeed. And you know, he's big confidence right now.
Well, decision to start Booker on best. What was?
Excuse me.
To
You
start
guys
Booker.
speak up a little bit.
What was the decision? What was my decision to start Booker?
I just changed it. You know, Nene wasn't here, and Book's just getting back. I got to give Book some minutes. Again, working him back into shape. He's not where he's going to need to be when we get to October 30th. So that's more.
When I asked you earlier in the week about Jan not being aggressive himself offensively, looking for a shot, I think he only took one tonight. Is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not so much how many shots he takes. It's about how he plays on the floor. Is he flying around? Is he rebounding the ball? Is he getting deflections? Is he active defensively? That's what I'm really talking about with Jan. And you know, that's been up and down. That's what he's got to continue to work on, and not let a bad play, a bad stint on the floor take him down. All right, that's just what he's got to do. Thanks, guys.